This is Jamie Magritte. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. I don't know if you can see all the texture there. Let's get started. Bring in my supplies here. There's no stamping on this card. I've got a die cut here. This is from the Iconic Dies. I have two little red birds, which is from Beautiful Trees. I have this stitched rectangle, which is the fifth from the largest of the stitched rectangles. I have a 2 3/8 by 3 3/4 inch piece of early espresso, a 2 3/4 by 4 1/4 inch piece of crumb cake, a 5 3/4 by 3, or excuse me, a 5 by 3 1/4 inch piece of vanilla, 5 1/8 by 3 3/8 piece of early espresso, and this was a scrap that had a piece cut out of the center of it, but it works. So, and then a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of gray granite. And then my card base, which is the thick white, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Okay. I'm going to be using the Wintry 3D embossing folders. I'm going to be using this one. And I'm going to bring in this gray granite piece. And I'm going to run it through the bottom section of this piece of cardstock, like that. You can do a little bit less if you want. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to run that through. That one. And then I'm going to be using the Evergreen Forest 3D embossing folder. And that's what my gold piece is going to get run through. And I just put it in and played with it until I found a place where I wanted it. When it's right about there. Can you see that? And then I ran that through my machine. Okay. These are the Iconic dies, and these are the Beautiful Tree dies, the sets. Okay, so I'm going to go run those through my machine, and I will be right back. Got those. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to, now we can assemble this card. Okay, I'm going to attach this to the early espresso piece. And let's see, I'm going to use my snail, or my seal, excuse me. I'm going to try to use it. I want to make sure I get it all the way around the edge. As close to the edge as possible so the edge doesn't curl up. A little bit down the center. Okay, and this is going to get centered onto this card. I'm also going to add a little bit of wet glue so I can have that wiggle room. Then you'll have the best of both worlds. Okay, and there's just going to be a 1/16 of an inch border. Just tiniest little border. Actually, so 1 3/8 by 3 3 3/4, yeah. Okay. Alright, so there's that piece. This is going to get mounted on this one. I'll just use the snail for this, or the glue. I used the snail on the other one first because it's not Stampin' Up cardstock, and I wanted to make sure I didn't get the little snakies from the glue underneath. It's a thinner foil. that. Alright, let's put some dimensionals on the back of this. And this is going to get put onto this 5 by 3 1/4 inch Very Vanilla. It's centered top to bottom. There's a little bit more space on the outsides. Okay, and this is going to get mounted onto this one. And since there's nothing in the middle, I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on here. And it's just going to have that 1/16 of an inch again. Okay. Now this is going to get mounted onto this piece that we ran the embossing folder through. Go ahead and put the glue on that. And it wants to go at the top edge of it. So there's that 1/8 of an inch at the top and 2 sides, and the bottom is got the embossed area. This will get mounted to the front of our card. It should be the same size. Oops, it slipped. Try that again. There we go. Should be the same size as the front of the card. Okay, I'm going to bring in this little branch. And I'm bringing in some, where'd they go? Some little dimensionals, and I've cut a bit of the edge into real tiny thin strips. So I'm going to put a couple of these little tiny strips on the back of this tree branch. Oops. I didn't take the back off. There we go. Just need a couple. One more. Come on. Thank you. Put one here. This one feels too fat. Okay. And this is going to go down here. And I lined up this edge with the edge of the card. Overlapped the branch onto the card a little bit. Now I gotta find my 2 birdies, turn them over onto the back side so they face each other, and I'm going to put one of these little dimensionals on the back of each one. Take the backs off. One's going to go down here. One's going to go right here. There we go. There's the card we just made together. And here's the one I did previously. Well, thank you so much for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps ink, and or paper